Hello guys, let's start a new section, listening section, and now let's see the introduction. The listening test. It contains 4 sections and each section contains 10 questions and in total there will be 40 questions. Each question carries 1 mark and there is no negative points. The questions get more difficult as the test progresses. The test lasts approximately 30 minutes and during this 30 minutes your answers which you will find from the recording will be written in the question booklet itself. Each recording is played only once, so always be careful with what you hear. You will have 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answers from your question booklet. Let's see what is contained in each section. Section 1 will be a conversation between 2 people within a social or everyday context. Section 2 will be 1 person speaking in a social or everyday context. In our section 3, a conversation between 2 or more people within an educational context will be given. Example like a tutor and her 2 students, like that. Section 4 will be a lecture, normally on an academic subject. That is only 1 person speaking. Prediction. Prediction is the most tested of the listening sub-skills and crucially important to get a high score in the test. So guys, now let's focus on listening. Here an example is given. Name of that person is written already. Room number, a blank is given. Number of occupants, 1. Checkout time, also the answer is not given. Here the 2 answers which we need to find are room number and checkout time. Here we can accurately predict that we are going to hear a room number and time. That means we can completely focus on those 2 items, making it much easier for us to get the correct answer. How to predict? We can predict grammar, whether our answer is a noun, verb, adjective, adverb, etc. Often it will be obvious which word form we need to use. If we use a different form of the word, we will get the question wrong. Why? Because our sentence structure should be also correct. Next we can predict subject, phone number, address, date, business name, etc. This will help us focus on the correct part of the recording and find the correct information more easily. Functions like list, question, label, instruction, etc. Make sure you know how to spell all the difficult days and months. A majority of listening questions will contain at least 1 answer as a day or month, so be careful with their spellings. If we are not putting the initial letter of that word capital or if we are not spelling that word correct, then our answer is incorrect. Be aware of some synonyms such as weekend. Weekend stands for Saturday and Sunday, fortnight for 14 days. There are also different ways of saying and writing dates. For example, the 11th of September 2002 could be written as 11 September 2002. Again, most importantly, pay attention to the word limit in the question and always write under this limit. Address. Each country has a different address format. Ielts will normally use UK or Australian addresses. It's normally house or flat number, street name, town or city name. Finally, you might have to write down a postcode. These always start and end with 1 or 2 letters. First, normally the same as city and then a series of numbers in between. Make sure you write down both the letters and numbers. Let's see an example. Here, the initial letter of the city name, that is B, and that will be the first letter of our postcode number, that is also B. Our postcode number here is BS15TW. Connected speech. It's essential that you get used to how real English speakers talk. So you have to follow podcast and listen to native speakers talks in YouTube channels, in TV shows, etc. Signposting language. Signposting allows the speaker to tell you where their talk is going and allows you to follow them. In 2 of the 4 parts of the IELTS listening test, you will have to listen to someone speaking by themselves, someone in a social context and one in a lecture style. When someone talks in this way, they often use what is referred to as signposting. For example, when you give a lecture, you might say, this lecture is divided into 3 parts, and then you will say things like, first of all, secondly, after that, and finally. These phrases tell the listener what stage of the talk they are listening to and what is going to be said next. If we know how to interpret these signals, we are more likely to understand and follow the whole thing. Filling out the answer sheet. Here, my main tip is to write all answers capital. Why I gave you this tip is because don't make silly mistakes. For example, if you are not starting a letter, in India, we have to write I capital. And if we are not writing like that, our answer is incorrect. So, to overcome such silly mistake, we need to follow this capitalization rule. Read the instructions very carefully for all questions. Since we are using pencil to write our answers, just erase that answer. If you are incorrect, then write the correct answer. Grammar and spelling are crucially important. One small mistake and the answer will be incorrect. Leave no blanks. That is, don't leave any question unattended. If you have no idea, just do a guesswork because there is no negative points. Synonyms and paraphrasing. You should always be aware of how synonyms and paraphrasing are used. In Ielts listening, it's normal for you to read one word but hear another word with the same meaning. For example, in the question paper, it will be given arrival date, but what you will hear will be day you arrived. Departure date, you will hear day you leave. In the majority of questions, you will get word limits. If the word limit is no more than 2 words, this means that you may write 1 word or 2 words, but no more than that. No more than 1 word and or a number means you can write 1 word, 1 number, 1 word and a number. Other important areas. You should familiarize yourself with how numbers sound in a range of different accents. Example 1330, 1440. Second is, some letters are more difficult to distinguish than others. The test will normally have the difficult words. Example B, P, T, E, D, G all have final sound and may be used to try and trick you. Make sure you know how to spell all the difficult days and months. Listening advice. Practice listening to both one person and multiple people speaking. Be careful with your spelling. Use the short breaks to move on to the next part of the text. That is to read the questions. Try to predict the answers before you hear the recording. If your answers are not grammatically correct, they will be marked as incorrect. Read the instructions very carefully. Improve your vocabulary and you will improve the listening score. Get used to listening to things only once. That's all with this introductory class. Bye. See you guys.